Welcome, everyone,
to another week of your favorite crypto podcast.
Sometimes crypto.
The unscripted
Crypto podcast.
Ayo.
Hey, yo. This guy likes jumping in front of me.
I also almost forgot the line afterwards.
That's hilarious. We're back. It's been a while since technical difficulties. Ideally, Alex should have fixed the majority of his. We should be good.
I think I'm good for now. I think I'm good.
We should have we cross our fingers, pray to God, no issues.
Yep. Everything is on the up and up. We're coming through.
We do apologize for last week's episode being a mess. If it was messy,
it was a little messy, but
if it was messy,
that's just bound to happen when you've been doing this for so long and just plan on doing this for the foreseeable future. So.
Until I die. I will be recording once I'm dead.
Straight from the underworld.
Straight from the underworld. Damn, you're not even sending me to heaven? I mean, it's fair, but still.
I've been watching the show Dreams, or Sandman, on Netflix.
What a good show.
Yeah.
That's a fun show to watch.
I feel like that's a conversation for another time.
I agree. So let's start off with like where the market is at the moment, right? I guess.
Yeah, that sounds like a great space.
Sorry, my robot brain had it jumped.
So how is the market doing, William?
Let's
market man.
Let's share. Because I want to say, I think Alex and I, for the first time ever in history, we called the bottom.
We called it. We did call it. William put in a trade. Live.
I put in
two trades in the middle of our episode last week. And boy, did that play out well for him.
Still in them. I still think there's still room to go higher, in my opinion. I could be 100% wrong. I could be just like overly bullish. But nonetheless. So let's look at... I'm looking for the chart that's less dirty.
Cluttered?
Cluttered, yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, last weekend where I took my trade essentially was down here. Bitcoin reached this. And I think we said very clearly, I'm like, this is a good support zone. I see a bounce. And it did. Bounced quite hard.
That's a little bit more than a bounce.
Hey, it was a little bounce. It was a tickle. And I believe there was also more than likely a downtrend that I placed around here as well. So it broke the bigger trend line, and it tickled. We were pretty close to all-time highs again. My current thesis and thought process is from this move. Let me get rid of this. From this move, we see I see two scenarios I like. So the first one is we retest the all-time high at like this 120 level, and we make it to a new support. So we come back, we retest, it either ranges or or bounces hard off and just rips. I doubt that, but I would assume it will come down some, range around here for a bit, create some structure before ideally making its new leg up. I wouldn't want it to see a range for too long, however, because the longer it ranges, the more the better likelihood that it does come back down, which is not bad because I do see another zone I like, which is the lower half of this, which is this level, like 117. So like I would call this like a area of like
interest
and bullishness, in my opinion, until we lose it. Until we break below and like come back down here, then maybe we can see lower lows. Well, potentially lower lows. So I would say anything ranging, like I would ideally see Bitcoin just like range around here for a bit and make a new like structure. And at the same time, if dominance continues to go up as it has been, alts will not move as fast nor as hard. They will probably either lag behind or even come down some on those like deeper pushes down to like the 117. But we did call this bottom, broke above. What we would like to see, retest this area, this zone, make it a new higher high from here, and make it a new support zone. And then we can see a build up from here to then potentially, ideally, new all-time highs. And dominance broke out of that downtrend we were looking at last week. Still, it hasn't done much since last week. It's really slowly grinding up. Like we talked about, if, as like Benjamin Cowan said, if dominance does decide to go back to 60%, it's a really good rejection zone to then for it to come back down hard and more than likely lose the level it bounced on prior, which is this one. So we're still in the uptrend. That's why alts aren't moving as hard nor as fast. And where is it? Sol looks very similar. Since it is an alt, it's taking a bigger beating. Oh, that's a daily. But still, same scenario. I think Sol can still come down a little further, maybe down to here, and then make this new area right here, the 218, its new higher high area, and a new support zone, because there is a lot of relevance here. And on that note, we also got, which was total the market cap placed a new all-time high, 4.1 trillion. 4.19 trillion to be exact. And we're sitting at,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money in the market. And at the same time, USDT dominance has not had a crazy big bounce up. It's back down to this lower level, which is good for us because it means money's flowing from USDT into the rest of the markets. Right now, mainly Bitcoin, but still a good sign.
Yeah, October is looking real good so far.
Even though a lot of traders are still, well, one of the chats I'm in, the main trader is saying he suspects that this is gonna it hit 123. It's gonna hit it. They're gonna short it. They're saying it could, if 116. He's saying 116 is a weak zone. I disagree. I think it's pretty strong. I think it could make a good bounce zone. If it loses this, he's seeing it come back all the way down, and he's saying there is no October. Like this is going to be the highs of October. Mm-hmm. I'm going against that theory. I think the move is it's gonna make a new higher all-time high in October. If not, like if we're still in a 4-year cycle, ending the cycle at some point, really, because we're towards the end of it. Unless the cycle is extended or there's no longer a 4-year cycle and markets just run parallel to money supply and the business cycle and everything else. My theory is shorts at this area that was taken get stopped out, new all-time high, and then we get a big drop down from that all-time high, most likely either back to the previous all-time high, which would be around here depending on how high we go, or even to the 118 level and make that and hit that support zone if right now it comes back down all the way. Is that clear? That makes sense?
I believe so, yeah. That sounded
awesome sauce.
Pretty clear to me.
And that will, whether dominance continues to push up or not, I'm not sure. I do feel like dominance still has a lot of room to go up, right? Since dominance hasn't ran all that hard. But I do see that rejection at that 60% if it does get there. Like, we'll reject hard. That's all I got.
Dominance would reject hard at 60%?
I think so.
So would that be because price of Bitcoin will go down, or because money starts flowing into alts fast.
Money would flow either into alts or USDT, depending. If it rejects hard off of here and the price of Bitcoin goes up, it just means there's new money coming in, as we always said. But also, I think it's just psychologically, traders all follow the same like kind of rule book. So it's kind of like whatever you think a trade can do, the rest of the world's already thinking it. Like the rest of the traders are already thinking it. The bots are already like analyzing it. So like they're self-fulfilling prophecies to a degree. Mm-hmm. So if we all say it's going to get to 60%, and it looks like it's a rejection zone because of like market structure has previously, then the idea is, okay, if that's a rejection zone, I'm going to switch whatever I have in cash or in Bitcoin to the alts because it should reject here. Mm-hmm. Same applies for like why I said the short's too obvious earlier on, I think off air. Like everyone shorted here because it's done it 1, 2, and now 3 times. So it's a very obvious play. Self-fulfilling. It'll probably shorts will play out for a bit. Just depends how deep, right? Yeah. That's why I think this 118, once like this level, in my opinion, could potentially be the new support zone, and then higher highs after that.
And October stays strong.
I believe October stays strong. Could be wrong, but it played out well last week. Like last week was gold in my opinion.
Last week was a really good week. I agree. That was funny. That was good though. I just see William pull out his phone. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's looking too good. I gotta get in on this trade right now."
It did. And I saw it. I'm like, it does look too pretty right now. And there wasn't anything in the market to suggest, or like any news related events to suggest the opposite. On top of that, mix that in with the fact that the U.S. government has shut down pretty much within that time frame on Wednesday, and then Bitcoin's still open. It's like the minute. And then I did research on the fact of whenever the U.S. government has gone into shutdowns, the market always rallies shortly afterwards. Like S&P made a new all-time. Yeah, stocks rally. Well, mainly stocks. We've had. There's more historical data for that than crypto. Stocks always. So the numbers I saw was price would dip down, depending on on that day or shortly after, maybe 1 to 2%, even less, and then within like the coming days and weeks, it doubles or it typically doubles that percentage down. If it went down like 2%, it goes up 4%, 4 point something percent. So it makes back what it lost and then some. And since this government shutdown is kind of BS, and it's like the Republicans are in control of all major branches, like there's no reason for it to be shut down. It's just like they're nitpicking.
I just have no information on why the government shut down. I've been out of the loop.
So the fiscal year is starting for the government, and they couldn't agree on how to extend the budget, meaning provide more funds to just run the government, the make payroll, do everything else. So like debt's going to be paid, all those things are going to still be dealt with, but just like the workers and everything else, they can't afford to pay them at this very point in time until they make a new budget, until they agree to increase the budget size. And typically both sides have different things they want thrown into that budget increase. Yeah, it could be, I think right now it's healthcare, like some of the things that Doge cut down on, like some of the Doge cuts to like refund some of those things is what the Democrats are pushing for, and the Republicans are just like, we're not doing that. So they just have to come and agree on the terms to then increase for the budget.
What do you mean we shouldn't be giving any more Medicare to the guy who was 200 years old?
So it's not like I'm sure there's more nuanced, specific things they're also adding, but you know. So
yeah, that was a joke.
I know.
Obviously,
I know. And the shutdown, we don't know how long it's going to last. Typically, they last anywhere between, like the last one under Trump was 34 days. This one could be something similar or even less. If it's less, it's even more bullish. If it's longer, then that gets a little sketchy. Because now you're going to...
34 days is a long time. Month.
So that's when up to 3 weeks, there's no real issue. Once you get to fourth week is where the problems come. Because up until 4 weeks, most people don't have bills due, for the most part. So that check doesn't affect until that fourth week. So
people that are not getting paid are not just governors or senators, right?
Governors, they're not. I don't know if senators and governors. People in Congress are getting paid though, and they're saying and a lot of Congress members are even saying they shouldn't be getting paid.
Yeah, those are the senators, I believe.
Yeah.
Congress shouldn't get paid.
No one should get paid if the Congress if the government shut down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and all essential workers do have to go into work. By the way,
because they're essential. What typically happens is for essential workers is they just back pay. If whatever you worked, and once it reopens, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get your money. Mm-hmm. That's why typically it doesn't get bad until that fourth week. So once they reach an agreement, I think it's back on track. To the market at least will just get a little more bullish in my opinion, possibly. Yeah, maybe they fix it soon. I don't know.
Maybe.
What do you guys think about this government shutdown? Was it justified? Will we resolve it soon? Who's at fault? Why is this like point fingers?
Don't point fingers. They already point fingers.
And
they're already pointing. They're already, dude. Even with you say like, there's no need to say that because everyone's doing it already. They're all blaming each other for different things. It's just like everyone's saying like it's Republicans' fault because they have control of everything. Like, why couldn't you get your votes? And then Republicans are saying it's all Democrats' fault for like not dropping this one thing that's unnecessary. And it's all. And what about this? What if it's both of your fault for overspending and not having enough capital to run things efficiently, anyways? How about them apples?
That's what I'm hoping our
maybe that's the real issue here.
Our viewers say, "Yep." How about we just don't spend the money? If we don't have it, how are we going to spend it?
How about the government becomes fiscally responsible and goes, you know what? Maybe we do have to cut down on all these things, not just like nitpick.
Depending on what the next few sentences we say are, depends on whether I get heated or not. So let's see how that rolls.
Why?
Because you know how the government works, William. You know how the government acts and how these behaviors make me feel.
No, it's fun, man.
That's what I say. Depending on our next few statements, kind of makes a difference.
Whatever. I think we move on to some bullish news.
Bullish? Well, the government shutdown was bullish.
Yeah, it was quite bullish actually. But this is even more bullish.
Okay.
BlackRock officially announced that they're allowing in-kind redemptions, which we talked about that.
For the Bitcoin ETF.
Correctamundo.
Holy shit. That's actually awesome. That is huge. That's really good.
Correct. Which we did bring up earlier on, saying that they filed for it, that it looks good under his administration.
So remind our listeners, our viewers, what do you mean by in-kind redemptions?
So when the ETFs were first approved, they weren't allowed to have in-kind redemption. It was only cash, meaning if you were to want to withdraw those funds or that asset, you would have to sell it to then get the cash out. With in-kind redemption means is you no longer have to sell the Bitcoin to get the money out. You can just redeem the Bitcoin itself and self-custody it.
That's actually huge.
It also removes a lot of different taxes that you would have to have paid because of it. because now you're no longer selling the asset. You're just going to keep the asset and just custodiate yourself. You may have to pay fees, typical for like withdrawing stuff and all that, like that kind of things. But you may not have to. I don't know the legality of it exactly, but I assume there's going to be less taxes for it, like for sure. BlackRock was the first one that was approved. All the rest of them are under the same process to ideally get in-kind redemptions, which if one got approved, they should all have it shortly thereafter.
So William, remind me, for the ETFs, for the Bitcoin ETFs, if I have Bitcoin purchased through the BlackRock ETF and I wanted to exit, I'd sell my Bitcoin or my holdings and I'd receive cash for whatever the market value price is, correct?
Correct.
Would BlackRock be forced to sell that Bitcoin?
Yes.
Or, okay.
They have to sell it, or at least whatever like their algorithm is or however they're doing it. If you sell, they have to sell the actual asset itself. But mind you, I'm sure they have enough volume. If someone's buying at the same time, they also might not have to sell it
to actually sell in the open market.
Exactly. They may just go, okay, they'll just move it.
Close the book, on their own.
They'll put a sell on your side and just move it somewhere else. I assume that's what they do. That's why
that
makes the most sense. I also that's kind of why they have like a 1 day period like to settle things, because of all these different movements that occur. So like settle on their end, see what movements happen. If there was actual outflow, meaning there was 1,000 Bitcoin that were actually sold out of, those 1,000 Bitcoin then would have to be sold over the counter or however it's being handled. Which now you don't. Now if you want to redeem it, you can just so selling it, you just redeem it in kind. Easier, and you get your Bitcoin. Awesome news. It's literally awesome news.
I am so bullish on Bitcoin, dude. It is insane. I think in the next 2 cycles we're gonna have a completely different market, and
that's if there's a cycle.
That's true. If
anything, you have to say next 2 halvenings.
Yeah, but that's what I meant by cycles. It's like one halvening is a cycle.
Yeah. We'll see how long that lasts. That mentality.
Yeah, we'll
so, also, I said 2 bullish news because this is the other one. ETF Recovery Trust will distribute another 1.6 billion in claims for anyone holding 50K and under for unsecured creditors. And this was posted the 29th. So those distributions are also still being handed out to all those that
ETF Recovery Fund?
FTX Recovery Fund.
Okay.
Recovery Trust. I'm sorry if I said ETF.
Okay, the FTX Recovery Trust is distributing more of their assets.
More of the funds that belong to credit, yeah. Which, to rephrase, I think I think we've even said it, they're being made whole. That's not true. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
They're being made whole in terms of if that price was, if they would have exited out in that moment, not in today's prices. Let's be clear on that. They're getting substantially less crypto than what they should have. It's they're getting it back in terms of money, not in terms of assets.
Correct. The assets what's important here.
The assets what's important, 100%.
And this is like a cognitive shift that we need to do as a society. It's the dollar value is not really the important thing. It's what you could purchase. It's purchasing power. And with fiat currency, it's infinite supply because governments can print on demand, as opposed to smart money, something that's, and this is just a term that's used, smart money, because it's actual functioning money that does not go up in supply at a arbitrary decision.
Or there's a fixed supply as well, because you said.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a fixed supply. So it gives us more stability. And in reality, the asset is what holds the value.
and then we just define that value with whatever fiat currency is most convenient for us.
Yeah, the US dollar's down 10% year to date almost.
And it's down 99% since its inception.
Well, now you're throwing some pebbles at you. You're a little off since it was taken off gold standard, to be exact.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Particularly since it's been taken off the gold standard. But even while it was on the gold standard,
it was still being devalued, because it wasn't one for one.
Still being
devalued. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Well, it's not that it wasn't 1 for 1. It was that before we got off of the
but
gold
it was
standard,
different because
there was a point where it did reduce the amount of gold that was in the reserves based off of how much currency was issued out. Yeah, so it's not that it wasn't 1 for 1. It was that the amount of gold, the amount of dollars that we issued out per gold went up.
Correct.
Therefore devaluing the dollar, because now that dollar buys less gold.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. They didn't hold it up. Like, they kept printing money with the same amount of gold that was being held instead of increasing the gold holdings as they printed more dollars. But Tad, that's also the reason why they also got us off the gold standard, was to be able to print money easier.
Mm-hmm. Which just makes it worse. Makes money worse.
100%. Yeah. Do you want to tackle the next story I have, or you want to do one of yours? What do you want to do?
I don't remember what the next story you have is.
The 5 billion seized by the UK.
Oh, that's a lot of money. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with that. That sounds interesting.
Cool. So during the week, literally, they arrested a lady who was behind a massive Ponzi scheme back in 2018 in London. Well, in the UK, because I don't know if it was in London. So what they seized was just about 61,000 Bitcoin. At the time, it was worth about $6.9 billion.
That's a lot.
She defrauded about 128,000, I would say, customers, like people who she was gonna invest for and give them outlandish returns. And there's a lot of intricacies in the story, because I didn't know this occurred back then. I was paying attention to it. So she's a Chinese national who, when the Chinese government was going to crack down on her, she fled with fake paperwork to the United Kingdom. And then she lived in the UK for a bit. From what I understand, she wasn't continuing her crime, but the UK then was aware of it and became eyes on her. Mm-hmm. And then they finally cracked down on her, and they got a hold. They took her down.
Well, after 8 years, 7 years.
Yeah. Well, China tried. She fled, and then she was brought into custody. I have it here. Let me read it real quick, so I can give the exact. So the fraud spanned from 2014 to 2017, and collapsing aimed China's 2017 cryptocurrency crackdown. So that's it. The reason she left was part of that reason, because she was just turning everything over to crypto, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so UK's authorities were tipped off about the transfer of criminal assets, raided a Hampstead mansion in 2018, seizing devices containing the 61,000 Bitcoin. So she's been like, they picked her up since 2018. However, a 7-year probe involving multiple jurisdictions followed, led by Metropolitan Police. I'm not going to pronounce her name because I'm going to butcher it.
was arrested after evading justice for 5 years and pleaded guilty for money laundering charges in a London court on September 29th in 2025. So the reason I'm saying this is there's a lot of like intricacies is because the UK wants to keep the Bitcoin. They don't want to sell it. They want to keep it and essentially use it to start off a Bitcoin reserve / fund. However, she is a Chinese national and China wants to bring her back to China to pay for her crimes, one. But two, I believe... Huh?
Send her.
But the UK... But the thing is, China also wants the Bitcoin.
Nope.
That's the other thing.
So, I don't know if they should send her or not. It depends on how serious China's going to be punishing her. Is the crimes... Because if the crimes that she did do not justify the punishment that she's been given, I think like London has, or the UK has, a moral obligation to not send her back, seeing how unjust punishment.
But you see, this is where my pushback comes. I believe the Chinese authorities. So the Ponzi scheme. The Chinese, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to see if I looked it up here. Okay, so the victims, the 120,000 affected individuals, many of whom were misled by trusted contacts, suffered significant financial losses, and I can't read. Financial losses. The scheme eroded trust in investment opportunities and highlighted the vulnerability in crypto. Oh, damn it, it's not there.
Yeah. So.
Okay, this is where it is. So China has demanded the fund's reparations, while victims are advocating for restitution. So this is my thing. I don't think neither party should keep the money. I think it should go back to the 123,000 victims or 128,000 victims.
So, yes, because of the traceability that we have, for the like large amount of like how much that should be documented. I agree. It should go back to the victims. That's their money they got scammed out of. It should go back to them. However, my question, or possible road bumps that they might have to, or hurdles that they might have to deal with, is, do you send the money back to the wallet in which it came from?
So this is the thing, though. So we don't know if, because I didn't see the information. We don't know if the whatever happened only happened on chains, or was it like I gave you $1,000 in cash, or I deposited into an account, and then you just went off and bought Bitcoin with it, or you did whatever you wanted with it. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming there will still be a paper trail in either case, but also it was not just that she all those people she defrauded. It was also she defrauded high value officials as well, like people in companies and banks, in the political system.
Where were the majority of her victims?
All Chinese. The majority were all Chinese.
Okay, so she defrauded Chinese.
Because the Ponzi scheme occurred in China, and when China was going to crack down on crypto regulations and banning, she fled to the UK. And from what I'm understanding,
how would you go about this? What do you think?
The way I look at it is, I think the Chinese government and those funds were taken from, I think, have a higher, like, the UK has, in my eyes, no real right to that money, to what was taken.
However, the UK kind of like found this woman that committed crimes in China, was able to seize the assets that she stole and defrauded their victims from, with very little to no incentive for doing so.
Maybe.
So, and this is just me, like, kind of like making different points of views. This isn't something that I necessarily think is like what's the right thing. I haven't said that yet. I might get to that later. So some might argue that, like, oh, they did a service of at least catching the girl or the woman and the assets. I do agree that they have a responsibility to return those assets to the victims. But then, like what happened there? Like they had no incentive to do that. Maybe they should receive some, like, proportion of what they found. Like, hey, we got this. Like a 0.01% would be nice. Some might argue. Granted, I don't know what London or the UK's current position is. They want to keep all of it.
They want to keep all of it.
Yeah, that's insane. That's not right.
They want to keep all of it and use it to create a reserve.
Yeah, that's not right, because those are stolen funds.
And depending how it was done, pretty trackable funds.
Yeah. Now, if London were to return those funds to China, what's the likelihood that China is going to give them back to their citizens?
Good point. So I think there's a workaround both these scenarios. UK shouldn't keep the funds. I also don't think the funds should be sent to China either. I think UK takes it on themselves and goes, we will resend these funds to everyone who it belongs to, or we'll determine in China and the UK will work in tandem to go, no one's gonna keep this money. We're gonna send it back to these people.
Yeah, I agree. I think
that should be the right thing. Whether they do it or not, it's a different story.
I think the UK has to make a public announcement saying that we are not going to be sending the funds to China. We're going to be sending it directly back to the citizens that were defrauded, should China choose to help them.
Yeah.
Get it right to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
That way China doesn't say, oh, look, they don't want to give you the money back. No, they do want to give you the money back, but China's refusing to help.
Correct. To facilitate
if that be the case, you know.
Yep. I think it would have to be something like that to make it, one, very public, and two, be the right thing.
Mind you, this would strengthen the relationship between the UK and the Chinese citizens.
Yeah.
Should the UK decide to come to their senses and give it back?
Honestly, just go, F you, we're keeping it, come and take it.
Yeah.
That's also a wild, thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting, yeah.
To be fair, it's similar to, the US's Bitcoin that has been seized, from either Ponzi schemes or whatever type. We never gave it back.
But okay, so here's the interesting part about ours. Ours came from Silk Road.
Correct.
Which is, the majority of those were illegal
activity. Yeah, I'm not.
But at that point, I'm not super opposed to that.
But not all of our Bitcoin. A lot of our Bitcoin's from Silk Road, but not all of it. I'm saying I'm sure there are a few cases where people were defrauded, and it was Bitcoin or whatever. And we also didn't give back. Also, to a tad, it was also our own citizens.
No, I think.
Do you think all of it? You might be right.
I don't remember of a case where it was a
huge
fraud.
Bitcoin seizure.
Yeah, a fraud.
Could be.
No.
Yeah, but it's also growth then.
Any. I might be wrong, and my memory might be failing me, but I think for the most part, all, if not most. Or most, if not all, better said. More correctly said.
Yeah. So I think this is a very unique situation, and I think it's going to be interesting to see it play out.
That is interesting.
Because this is actual fraud that occurred, and people were lied to.
Yeah.
This is like FTX.
Interesting.
It's theory FTX, to a degree.
Yeah. FTX was big. And also involved like offshore accounts.
Yeah.
Multiple companies.
So interesting to see. But yeah, so we'll probably keep a close eye on that one. That was going to be interesting. So what do you got for us?
Since we're on the topic of crime, I guess I'm going to do a quick tangent to a not strictly crypto specific crime.
Mm-hmm.
But it is sad, and it is not great to hear. But if you've enjoyed drinking beers and like drinking beers from around the world, hold on, I'll get to the point. Stick with me. The Japanese beer giant, the major producer from Japan, Asahi, got hit with ransomware attack.
Oh no.
Yeah, and Asahi makes like Asahi Super Dry, and like they also own like
stakes in other like beer companies.
And other ones, a big one such as Peroni, which is Italian. But essentially, they disclosed, I think it was yesterday on October 3rd, that they got hit with a ransomware attack. Earlier in the week, they said that there was some type of cyber incident, some attack, but yesterday specifically announced that it was a cyber attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So essentially, their entire operations were shut down in terms of factories.
Oh,
in Japan. Yeah. So they're based in Tokyo, and they employ 30,000 people, which is...
That's a big force.
That's a really big amount of...
That's not a small company right there.
No, that's not. It's not. So they also produce, what is it? This is the first time I hear this, but 100 million hectoliters of beverages.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
that's like an unfathomable number.
Mm-hmm. Which is just insane. And the reason why I bring this up is because ransomware attacks are on the rise, and ransomwares are usually... So what ransomware is some form of malware in which the hacker or the group that's behind it encrypts the files and the data on your system, making it impossible for you to get access to anything or get any work done. You
should probably mention how they get sent.
The
ransomware attack itself. Yeah,
the ransomware attack. Well, there's different vectors of attack. So that might spend like 30 minutes just.
But like give an example, because you just like you're telling what happens, but you're not telling people what to be aware of to a degree.
Yeah, so essentially there could be like a remote code execution. You click on a phishing link that sends you to a website. You might download a file thinking that it's something that you're expecting, and it's not. It's actually a file with a virus or malware on it that goes ahead and encrypts. It's honestly very, very broad how that could happen. But ultimately, the attackers offer you the ability to unencrypt your data for monies, specifically
shmoney.
Crypto assets.
Typically.
Yeah. And that's how those payments get done. It is advised to never pay a ransom because there is no certainty that the attacker will unencrypt your data.
Very few times does that ever really happen.
Yeah.
Like that you pay and they will be like, okay, here you go.
It depends. Some people are better. Some groups are better at unlocking the ransom.
Yeah, I said rarely.
But the reason being is because there's like boards, like this is organized crime on levels that you guys are probably not aware of. Mm-hmm. Where there's call centers for like help desk support. It's like, oh, what happened? Yeah, we got hit with your ransomware. And then be like, okay, do you need help walking you through to getting paid? They'll help them. What's up?
You just reminded me of something I saw on Instagram, and it's hysterical. So he's a white hacker for the most part.
Mm-hmm. White hat hacker, an
white
ethical
hacker, an ethical hacker, and he typically like helps people like if they get like into stolen information or whatever. So he was tracing this group, right? And literally what you said occurred. He calls in on purpose, and he just throws them off essentially. And then he hacked into their CCTV cameras that they had within the thing, and he was watching them. And as they would like pass the phone around to like, oh no, you're not help. And it wasn't. And I believe this call center wasn't like the help group like to pay or anything. I think this was like they were faking as a different type of help center. Like example would be like they're pretending to be like an Apple help desk call center, and then they're just like fishing out information that way. And he was just calling him to catch them like as they were doing like crime. And then at one point he tells them, "Look at your camera. I can see you in whatever you're wearing." And tell your buddy to like stop being like an idiot, like to stop doing what you're doing. Like I caught you guys and have all your files. And you see everyone like just panic.
Yeah.
They're all like,
I've seen some
what's
videos.
What's going on?
So.
Sorry to interrupt. I feel like that was a worthy interruption.
Yeah. So I mean, like that is true. There are people that are like kind of like what's the word? Vigilantes, and scare them at the very least. But the ransomware organizations, crime like groups are super organized. You could even do it as like ransomware as a service, where you introduce the ransomware into a system, and then the group will give you a cut of whatever. It's really organized.
It's mafia crime level. It's like intricate mafia level type of ordeal.
Yeah, it essentially. But for Asahi, there has been no reports on who attacked them. So they don't know, like they haven't said anything. So we don't know if Asahi has like either not responded to the attackers' demands or like just already paid the ransom. And this is relatively fresh. I hope that
gets resolved.
It gets resolved because they make this new seltzer that they just introduced to America,
and you like it.
Get some.
You want to try it. Do you know what this reminds me of? This attack you just mentioned. Remember when I think it was this year or early last year, 2024, when Vegas, I believe, was hit with a massive ransomware attack, or like a specific chain of hotels were attacked.
Caesar's Palace, I believe it is, and like a couple other ones,
and a couple others that were attached.
MGM.
And I remember like it shut down, everyone went crazy, and there was no news on what happened afterwards.
I'm pretty sure that was insane. It was really big, and I think that was more than a year ago.
Could be.
Relatively like anywhere between a year to 3 years ago.
Damn man, you got long, big ass time.
Ransomware has really
happened often.
Started. It just really started getting big after 2016.
Yeah.
2016 was when it's like kind of like started, and then like 2020 was when it's like
picked up,
went full rampant.
Yeah. Not just that though. Also, like they're going after big targets.
I mean, like, Asahi, huge company.
MGM
annual revenue of $20 billion last year.
I mean, MGM, a huge company. Like they're in multiple different avenues.
That's actually funny because when I first got into the field of security, I was like,
everything's so secure.
No, I was in the hospitality industry, and I was like, it'd be kind of cool to go to work in Vegas. I haven't done that, and probably won't. But after that, they got hit. I was like, if only I was there, could have stopped that.
I was like, I would have been the guy who told them not to click that one email. Well, I mean, in my old job, they were very adamant. You do not download any files that are locked, need a password. You don't download anything unless it was requested, touch, sent, like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, do not. They're like,
yeah, because if there's a file that's encrypted and then they're like, oh yeah, there's just a password. Yeah, you don't know what it is. It doesn't get detected by the antiviruses.
Yeah, exactly. They're like
until it gets unencrypted, and then
every time
it's already on your system.
Yeah, like every time people send an email saying, "Oh no, this is a password," I'm like, I cannot touch that.
Yeah,
I need you to send it like this because that is not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, we dealt with stupid amount of money.
Yeah,
at all day long. So it was like we cannot. Like,
yeah, William was in the finance industry.
Yeah, they're like, our credit line gets attacked, and that would be. I mean, I believe we, and not even that. Our credit line, like our creditors, would come at least twice, maybe 3 times a year to audit, like the everything, to make sure that everything was like tip top standards. No, crazy.
Yeah. Then the other story I have, it's going back to one of the major Bitcoin issuers, or not, crypto issuers, not Bitcoin issuers.
You mean USDT issuers? USDC issuers?
Yeah, well, it's one of the major crypto issuers.
Fair.
And then
Crypto.
I was going to get specific into, yes, Tether. So Tether is they issue out USDT backed with what is the backed with again, William? Is it just US cash, or they also buy bonds?
No, they have an assortment of different assets that back them.
Yeah.
Bonds. They have actual cash. They have a bunch of different. Well, I mean, they have Bitcoin as one of them too. Like
Bitcoin yeah.
They also have it like. But
so,
it's mainly it's a lot of debt and bonds and actual dollars.
So they also are issuing out Tether Gold, XAUT.
Okay, I didn't know this.
And this is backed by physical gold.
It should be.
It is. They've been doing it for a little bit already. However, there is a partner company that they're working with. It's called Antalpha Platform Holding. Mm-hmm. It's based in Singapore. It's a financial service firm. And the goal for Antalpha Platform Holdings is to raise a $200 million DAT, digital asset token holding company. My correction, digital asset treasury for this holding company. $200 million is trying to be raised for specifically purchasing Tether Gold.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so this is the first time I heard of a digital asset treasury, as opposed to like. I mean, I understand. Conceptually, I knew what they were, but I didn't know that there was like a term for it. You know,
a term for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on that same note, I mean, gold is at $3,886. Insane rally it's had. Like standalone gold, not comparing it to anything else. Okay. The minute you compare it to anything else, it's insignificant, right? Bitcoin to be specific.
Yeah. What's a good which website would you recommend for checking out token information besides like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko? Which one do you like?
It's all the same for the most part.
It's like they should all be accurate.
Not just accurate. They share a lot of the same they get a lot of the same data from like the same places.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, XAUT. So yep, Tether Gold ranked 88th. And it looks so. How much did you say gold was?
886. Mind you, this is a stock, so it's closed. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Tether Gold. $3,891.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it looks like they do it 1 for 1 based off of the ounces, grams.
Ounces.
Yeah, off of ounces. And the reason why I pulled this up was because I wanted to see how much is in circulation. And I think I get the total supply. Yep. So 246.52 thousand XAUT. So essentially, they have just over 7.7. So 7.66 tons is what they have in gold backing this asset, which is 15,000 pounds.
That's a lot of gold.
Over 15,000 pounds, actually.
And mind you, the more people who buy it, the more gold they need to get to issue. Mm-hmm. Like the more
that they issue out.
Yeah, the more they issue out and the more popular it gets, the more gold they need to keep on buying.
Mm-hmm.
Which drives the price of gold somewhat higher.
Yeah, because then they need to buy more to issue out digital currency. And in reality, like, I didn't know this existed. That's actually pretty cool. I think I'd rather buy Tether Gold than gold-backed ETF or something like that.
Well, gold-backed ETF also have to be 1-to-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I gotta. This is kind of impromptu, and I guess I gotta like check it out a little bit, because the concern with the gold-backed or like any asset-backed asset is how well is it being like actually audited and maintained to ensure that the backing is in line with what's in circulation.
I see your fear. And I understand, like, people can lie, can be whatever. I'm pretty certain it's a really well regulated industry.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a really well regulated industry for sure.
Well, yeah, the ETFs and that I agree. So that's why I say because I said my initial statement was that I'd rather do the Tether Gold, but then I thought of that and I was like, well, ETFs are probably more regulated than Tether.
Yeah, they are more most likely, and not just that. I believe gold ETFs have in-kind redemptions for the most part.
Oh, shut up. That's crazy.
If
they do, I would probably hop on that then, because I doubt Tether Gold would have in-kind redemption. XAUT. I guess it's AU because
some physical backed gold ETF offer in-kind redemptions.
Look at that.
Yeah. Like, I'm assuming not all of them would, just because like it's
I would assume the vast minority do.
But I'm pretty certain they have to. At least some have to offer it. My thing with the Tether Gold with the Tether backed gold is, are they buying actually, like, are they only holding gold, or are they holding potentially gold stocks, other gold, like, correlated?
That's a good question. Like, if it's actual physical gold that they're holding?
Yeah.
Because, like, the issue with physical gold is that
like the space required to protect it.
Yeah. That's a good question.
That would be like my question to it.
Let's see. So this is the about that's on CoinMarketCap. Tether Gold XAUT is a stablecoin that provides ownership on a 1-to-1 basis of 1 fine troy ounce of gold on physical bar of gold that meets the good delivery standard of the London Bullion Market Association. This technology allows access to a stablecoin that provides ownership of physical gold while avoiding drawbacks associated with physical gold, such as high storage costs and limited accessibility. Note, XAUT tokens can be fractionalized up to 6 decimal places, increments of as small as Troy, like dot, whatever. So it looks like it does have physical gold.
Looks like they do hold physical gold.
Yeah. 1-to-1 basis of a fine troy ounce of gold on a physical bar of gold that meets the gold delivery standard of the London Bullion Market Association.
Yeah, from what you just read, it sounds like they hold 1-to-1 for gold, like actual bars.
Mm-hmm. Yep, actual gold.
Because I know for the USDT, it's not only cash; they hold a lot of debt as well. U.S. debt, of course, but nice.
Yeah, interested. I'm curious as to how they're storing that and all that stuff.
It should be annoying to like keep like to protect. I don't got much more to offer. At this very point in time.
Neither do I. Not that I could think of.
Bitcoin's still hovering around that area.
Besides the stories that we missed out last time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, apart from like, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Never watched the guy. Watched him on a few interviews. Saw a few of his clips. I don't think he was a bad guy. I think it's sad that people cheered.
I agree. I do think it's sad.
I think there was some loss of humanity there.
Was specifically when the fact that he never harmed anybody.
Yeah. Also, like a lot of things, in my opinion, could have been taken out of context. Like things he said.
That's also true.
I'm not gonna say he didn't say things to inflame or like make people angry.
Correct.
But still, Elizabeth Warren makes me angry every day. I don't hope anything happens to her.
I agree.
Like, we never want that.
No.
Also, sad. There was a Democratic Congress member, I believe, who was also unfortunately assassinated and murdered a couple months back, and I'm upset.
There was two.
Yeah. I never saw that on my timeline. That's sad. That sucks. I feel bad for those families.
You're one of the people that like found out about that after like Charlie Kirk whole thing. He's
because they wanted to point it out, and I was like, oh shit, that's also bad. Like, I don't see what you guys are doing here.
I agree. That was extremely bad.
I'm like, I'm upset that didn't come up on my feed.
The difference is that those assassinations were in someone's house.
Yeah, it wasn't as public, and they didn't make a
not documented in video, and it didn't go viral like that. But that's also sad and should not be condoned or encouraged on any side. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that's cool.
Right? Like, I don't understand people. Like, two things cannot be cool at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And upsetting.
Yep. That is true.
Love your neighbors, guys. No matter how much you disagree. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No one is as bad as you think they truly are.
Just be kind to the next person next to you.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes rough days happen. Be kind.
Stay hopeful. Put in the work to get better yourself, because everyone's got to get better. We all have room for improvement.
Yeah, no one's perfect.
You could either make a decision based off of two factors, fear or love. I think love is better.
Facts.
I don't know. That's actually part of the reason why I think I like Bitcoin so much, and it's because it's indiscriminate. It allows everyone to have financial freedom. Doesn't care about your age. It doesn't care about your race. It doesn't care about your gender, your personality, your identity, your politics, any of that. It's inclusive.
Yeah. Also, quick little side tangent of Charlie. I didn't know he did this. Apparently, he took a 3x leverage position on QQQ.
Yeah,
when like the pandemic happened. I sent that to the group chat. That's. I didn't know he did that. I'm like, that's ballsy. I'm like, that's a gambler at heart right there. Like, his point was very clear. Like, I wouldn't bet against America. 100% agree. Or that it was going to last forever.
Honestly, I see the vision. Like, I was like, that's actually baller.
I'm like, but like 3x leverage on it.
That was on Graham Stephan's coffee shop.
That was on the Iced Coffee Hour. Yeah,
Iced Coffee Hour.
Like I said, I never really consumed his media, but I saw that and I was like, that's insane.
Graham and his co-hosts were like, what? And then he's like, yeah, obviously, easy. And then they're like, obviously.
I mean, mind you, it was an obvious play. For the
QQQ
most part,
is the S&P 500.
No, QQQ is it's a different one. It's I believe it's just technology stocks, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. Investco QQQ ticker is an exchange-traded fund that tracks the performance of NASDAQ 100 index.
There we go.
Which consists of the 100 largest non-financial companies listed on the NASDAQ stock market based on market capitalization. Yeah. So just American-based companies.
Big, not just the biggest American-based companies.
Yeah. True that.
Ballsy play.
Triple leverage.
That's what got me. The triple leverage is what got me. I'm cool if you just bought it, but triple leverage?
He's like, that was the easiest play I've ever made.
Dude, he made an absurd amount of money on that bet.
Mm-hmm.
But still sad. Also, since we're already in it, I don't think Kimmel should have been suspended. I also don't think the FTC should have gone after him. He didn't say anything crazy. And I'm glad he has his show back.
I'm not familiar with what happened with Kimmel.
Oh, no? So Kimmel said some comments. He was making a joke. He was setting up a joke. And essentially was, the reporter asked him, how do you feel about Charlie Kirk's passing? Or like how he's dealing with it in that moment. I think it's been like a day or two, or maybe a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it's very sad, and then he went straight to talking about like they're doing some construction work in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And Kimmel said Trump deals with grief as a toddler would deal with grief, and just like start talking about like goes off onto something else. He made a joke. It was relatively funny. It was like it wasn't harmful, and people got offended about it. I'm just like,
wait, people got offended about it, or the FTC got
both? Republicans were upset about the joke, and then the FTCC, I believe, filed saying that your commentators can't, like, your political commentators cannot be like reaching out. Mind you, there's a big deal on the back end that people are trying to do, like these big media companies. Mm-hmm. So that there's a whole there's a lot of not conspiracy, but a lot of like nuance to that whole situation.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. The FCC, Federal Communications Commissions. No T in there, just CC.
FCC. My fault. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because T is Financial Trade Commission.
Trade Commission, yeah. that's why I was like, I was like, why? I was like, what the hell does the FTC?
What does the T stand for? Yeah, FCC.
I was like, the FCC. Interesting.
But yeah, that was the whole thing. I don't think government companies should put pressure on regular companies to do anything. Like, especially if like there's no real harm being done.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Also, what happens to freedom of speech?
Also, what happened to freedom of speech? Again, everyone will say they're a private company, but the private company was put pressure on by the government. It's not the same thing as everyone else who cheered and is getting fired.
Yeah, completely different. Yep.
Okay, that's totally different, but not the point, because cancel culture is a real thing. It's happened on both sides. It's kind of stupid, unless like there's real harm being done.
Yep. Well, that's about it.
That's all about it.
If you liked,
tune in. We'll see you all next week.
Comment. Tell a friend.
Tell Alex he's beautiful.
Tell William also.
Dude, one day you're going to get a comment saying you're beautiful because it hasn't happened yet. But it will.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell, because I do know people. So some of my buddies, they listen. They listen to this podcast, but they don't comment. They don't comment. And they tell me.
They don't like either.
They tell me, they're like, oh, Alex, I would listen to it, but that I don't like how the other guy looks so much.
That happens. I understand. But wait a minute. You don't have to look at me. You can just listen to me. Unless you don't like my voice, which I get that too.
No, they said it was a looks thing.
All right, then you can just listen. If it's looks, just listen. I don't see a problem. You can still stream it and just not look at my ugly face.
Just don't listen to their critiques.
No, I don't care about the critiques. I just want them to listen then.
They do. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in.
It's been another week
of your favorite crypto podcast.
Sometimes crypto.
The unscripted
crypto podcast.
Hey.